Good morning all. Thank you very much for joining us this morning at the Licensing Subcommittee meeting of the 17th of July 2024. Could I ask the subcommittee members to come on to screen, please? Whilst that's taking place, my name is Amy Rudman. I'm a Democratic and Scrutiny Services Officer for the Vale of Glamorgan, and I will be supporting the hearing this morning. Could I ask all participants to mute their microphone once they're on screen, please? Councillor Morgan, if you could mute your microphone, please. May I remind everyone present that the meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and this recording archived for future viewing. If a participant wishes to speak, can they please raise their hand by using the remote raise hand function? And when invited to address by the chair, please could all participants ensure that their microphone and camera is on to ensure that they can be seen and heard when actively participating. Please ensure that all debate is raised verbally and not via the chat function for the sake of the recording. In terms of introductions this morning, the panel members on the subcommittee this morning are Councillor Jane Norman, Councillor Michael Morgan and Councillor Pamela Drake. Mr. Stelling, if you could please come off camera and activate your button just so Councillor Drake is able to join us on screen, and that'd be much appreciated. Ilaria Agostini Green and Kirsty Evans are also joining us from the Licensing Department of the Vale of Glamorgan online with us this morning. And the Vale of Glamorgan legal officer with us this morning is Mr. James Doherty. Supporting myself with technical attributes this morning is my colleague Liz Whitaker, who will not be on screen this morning. Having one other point to note for housekeeping this morning, that we do very kindly have Panima online with us, who is going to be translating and offering translation support for her father, Mr. Kumar, who is the applicant. She is present with Mr. Kumar in the same location as the appellant's representative, Mr. Louis Stelling, who is from Coleridge Law this morning. We will be going through the procedure this morning as per the procedure set out in the papers in advance of the hearing. And the first point is for me to appoint a chair. So can I ask from the subcommittee members for nominations for chair, please?
I nominate Councillor Drake.
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Morgan. So Councillor Drake is duly elected as chair. Could I hand to yourself, please, Councillor Drake, for declarations?
Right, thank you. I'm going to ask whether there's any declaration of interest in this.
No.
No, I can't see anything. So I welcome everybody present today, and we request that you identify yourself when you are able to take part. So this is the, which is item number 3, which is the report of the Licensing Authority, which did a review of a premises licence for DK Stores, 87 Court Road, Barry, under the Licensing Act of 2003. Right. I will now hand over to our licensing officer who will outline this report to our subcommittee to consider and determination the application of a licensing enforcement to review the premises license for the previously mentioned store, which comes under section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003. So I will hand over to, I believe it's Ilaria is going to take us through this.
Yes, Councillor, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just to note one thing, the invite to Kirsty Evans is not working. I wanted to address Amy. That's all.
That's okay, Ilaria. My colleague's dealing with that now in the background. She's reactivated the invitation, so I'm sure Kirsty will be with us momentarily.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the application for the review of this premises license is on the grounds that the licensing objective relating to the protection of children from harm is not being observed at DK Stores, 87 Court Road, Barry. A complaint was received from a member of the public alleging that on the 22nd of December 2023, a young person entered the premises and purchased alcohol without being challenged on their age. Now, this was not the first occasion that an underage sale of alcohol took place at the premises. In September 2021, the licensing office was notified by trading standards that in July 21, an operation into the sale of age-restricted products to children was conducted in the Barry area in conjunction with South Wales Police. A 16-year-old volunteer was used to test the premises known as DK Stores. The volunteer was sold 3 cans of cider and no checks were made to verify his age. Also, during the recorded interview, it was revealed that the premises was in breach of multiple license conditions, and it was concluded that the license holder and designated premises supervisor at the time, Mr. Deepak Kumar, had a complete lack of knowledge of anything license related. So following the trading standards notification, licensing enforcement officers visited the premises on 15 September 2021. The visit revealed a number of license conditions not being complied with. So a warning letter dated 16 September 21 was sent to Mr. Kumar requesting compliance with the conditions and also for an application to vary the DPS to be submitted to the licensing office no later than the end of October. Another visit was carried out on 15th of October. Still a number of conditions were not being complied with. Now, during the visit, Mr. Kumar informed that he never received the first warning letter. So a second warning letter was sent on the 21st of October, requesting again compliance with the conditions and the submission of the application to vary the DPS. The letter also outlined that failure to comply with this request within the prescribed time could result in a review of the premises license. On 25th of November 21, an application to vary the DPS was received, nominating Mrs. Datta, Mr. Kumar's wife, as the new DPS, and compliance with the conditions was attained. On 19th August 2021, Mr. Kumar attended the magistrate's court in respect of the July 2021 offence. He pleaded guilty to the 2 offences under the Licensing Act 2003 and was fined accordingly. On 28 December, then the licensing office received the complaint I mentioned earlier. So basically, on the 22nd of December 2023, about 6 p.m., her 14-year-old daughter went out with a friend, also a 14-year-old girl. Both of the girls got intoxicated after drinking alcohol that was purchased by the complainant's daughter's friend at the shop on Court Road, Barry, DK Stores. The complainant's daughter had to be taken to the A&E department of the University Hospital of Wales, where she was checked and afterwards released. The complainant also provided a video footage of the day showing her daughter with her friend who was wearing a grey top with a Nirvana logo printed across it, being intoxicated. So the investigation that followed and a CCTV footage of the day from inside the DK stores was requested and provided. The CCTV captured a young girl entering the shop on the day in question at 6:19 p.m. wearing a grey top with a Nirvana logo printed across it. The girl was identified as one of the 2 girls in the video footage provided by the complainant. The CCTV footage also captured the girl purchasing 2 bottles of what appears to be vodka and another restricted item, which appears to be an e-cigarette. Now, I believe that the CCTV footage from the shop and the complainant's video have been forwarded to the members of the committee and to Mr. Kumar and his representative before this meeting. Mr. Kumar was later interviewed under PACE, the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, and admitted to the offence. He apologized and stated that the employee who made the sale of alcohol to the young girl was reprimanded and his employment terminated. Mr. Kumar accepted that no reasonable steps to establish the individual age were taken. And he also stated during the interview that staff training is not documented, contrary to condition 5 of the premises license, which states that all persons working at the premises to be trained in the sale of alcohol, and that this training to be documented and available to Trading Standards and South Wales Police on request. Refresher training should be provided at least biannually. In light of the continuing breaching of the premises license conditions and the inaction of the premises license holder to rectify any item of non-compliance, licensing enforcement see that there is no alternative but to recommend the review of the premises license. Now, if the subcommittee are minded not to revoke the premises license, we would ask that the conditions listed on the review applications are imposed on the premises license in relation to the protection of children from harm licensing objective. Thank you.
Right. Does any member of our committee wish to seek any further clarifications or queries?
If I may as well, Chair, could I just take a moment, because obviously the officer's presenting the report there. Can I, just for the sake of translation, do you mind if I just ask Mr. Stelling and Mr. Kumar if they need any of the report as presented translated?
No.
Given that obviously the report has been circulated in advance, I just want to give them the opportunity to check. If that's okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Stelling, if you'd like to come on screen just to check, are you happy for us to continue?
Yes, we're happy to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to yourself, Chair.
Right. I did ask whether any members of the committee wanted to ask our officer any queries. I can't see anybody. No. Right. Right. I'll move on now, and I thank our officer for that presentation. I will now invite the applicant or their representative to present their case. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us on. I do think, obviously, it's a very unfortunate incident. Obviously, Mr. Kumar, as the licence holder, has admitted that a mistake was made, and he is aware that it is not the first mistake of this nature. There's no questioning what happened clearly, and that's why we're here and the review has taken place. My instructions from my client are that he agrees with all of the proposed conditions. Should you see fit not to take action such as suspension or revocation of the licence, he will impose all of those conditions, and in fact has already imposed the vast majority of them. I'm having some documents scanned, which I will send to Ms. Rudman as soon as possible now, showing the new training records, showing a statement of licensing, and the authority from the DPS to the individual. I would like to add that we would actually ensure that all staff members hold personal licences before that they're authorised to sell alcohol, and that the telephone number, which is point 2 of the proposed conditions, would be made available to all responsible authorities, but we would seek some clarification from the licensing department as to its need to be made available to residents and customers. That's not us saying that we don't want to do that. It's just asking for a little more steer, I suppose, as to how we should advertise it, what it should be made available for. I see this as a quite simple matter. Mr. Kumar, as I say, has admitted to the fault. The staff member is no longer at the shop. The training and efforts being made to ensure compliance and promotion of the licensing objectives is already in place. And he would make sure that all of those documents, training logs, manuals, and quarterly training logs be made available to the responsible authorities at any point that they wish to inspect them. I feel that given the proposed conditions, Mr. Kumar and his DPS and his staff members would simply need to ensure that this is a monthly thing that they do, whether it be a, as you said, due diligence checklist or sort of an inspection report. He would also, albeit we are very aware of how busy the licensing department will already be, very happily submit these on a regular basis to them, rather than simply have them made ready for inspection. And if there are any further conditions that they might propose, or as I say, any further steer that they might be able to provide him, he is more than willing to engage in that. He appreciates that mistakes have been made. He appreciates that he is liable for his staff members. And I think the family, his wife, DPS, his daughter and his son, who's now going to be working with the shop, are engaged and are well aware of what is required of them. It is unfortunate that a second issue had to be raised for this to happen, but it has turned a corner. And as I say, he's very prepared to engage with licensing on an ongoing basis.
I will ask our members whether they would wish to raise any questions. Councillor Norman, you put your hand up first.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Stelling. I wonder, could your client let us know why these things weren't put in place originally? They should have been done even before he had his first prosecution, and second, certainly since that prosecution, these measures should have been put in place beforehand, not now the second one, the second incident has occurred. How do we know these incidents haven't been taking place and not reported, in between? We've only been told of this one incident now because of the effect it had on that one or two young women. There could have been many more incidents about underage alcohol that we have not been made aware of. So all these things that Mr. Kumar is putting in place should have been done many, many years ago. Not now. It has been brought to our attention.
Councillor Norman, you're exactly right. There is no way, unfortunately, that we can prove a negative. Obviously, we can't demonstrate that this hasn't been happening. We can only say that, as Mr. Kumar submitted previously, he and his wife have always sought to ensure that the staff are told verbally. He is aware that not having those training records was a breach of the conditional licence, why they've now taken great efforts to ensure those records are made available and are in place in paper form. But as I said, unfortunately, it's incredibly difficult, in fact impossible, to prove a negative that this hasn't happened. We are very confident that these two events are the sole events. Refusals registers are here. The till does have and the first point, the staff members in question simply didn't engage with the measures that family have in place at the premises. I appreciate that that's a meeting. We can't prove otherwise. But as I say, these measures are in place. And while Mr. Kumar is of course liable vicariously and responsible for the actions of his staff, not being there on site meant that he couldn't actively engage with that member of staff when they made that mistake. All Mr. Kumar can do is seek to ensure that every possible measure is now in place. And he appreciates fully your point. And obviously, as I say, we've proven a fantastic to demonstrate it hasn't happened again. But unfortunately, that's a little bit outside of our control.
But surely, if the gentleman in concern had been trained properly from the onset, this would not have happened. This case would not have been coming before us today. So obviously, the training was not there to start with, or the gentleman refused to take on board what he's been trained. I don't know. I can't say. But surely, if Mr. Kumar had trained his staff properly, this incident would not be here before us today.
Councillor Norman, I would like to think so, yes. I can't cite other cases, but I'm in the court most weeks, and even with personal licences who've undertaken formal training by councils and local authorities involved in trading standards, cut corners, make mistakes, or simply don't bother. Mr. Kumar thought the training he provided to his staff was requisite, albeit without the training records that should be made available. Clearly, that was an error because the staff undertook an under 8%. We completely understand the concern of the licensing department. Rather than focus on that error and perhaps what he could have done at that point, which is futile now, he simply sought to ensure that everything is in place to protect any issue like that happening again. And you're quite right, Councillor Norman. It wasn't acceptable. It shouldn't have happened. We're not seeking to put all the blame onto the staff. Mr. Kumar is well aware of what he might have done otherwise. But unfortunately, as I say, we cannot rectify it. It is now to concentrate on what we might ensure it doesn't happen.
Are all Mr. Kumar's staff that are selling alcohol over 18?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Councillor Morgan, you are the next one with your hand up. I think we've lost you.
Sorry, Councillor Morgan, if you could reactivate your microphone, please. Councillor Morgan, we can see that you're connected and your hand is raised. Could you press your large activation button, please, to come back onto screen?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
You are hearing me. Good. I was just good morning to Mr. Stelling and to Mr. Kumar. I think the issue here clearly is supervision and training. Now, looking at the license, Mr. Kumar is the license holder and the premises supervisor is Rajiv Datta. Can you confirm that both these persons are in daily attendance at the premises?
They are, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Good. That's what I want to know. And again, you've confirmed, Mr. Selling, that if we were minded not to revoke the license, that Mr. Kumar is happy to consent to the conditions that have been suggested.
He is, yes. With say the caveat's the wrong phrase again. Sorry. On point 2, we'd just like to know in terms of the number being available to customers and residents. Unfortunately, the age that we live in, if a number is publicly available, it might lead to some unsavoury contact. However, we are very, very happy for there to be a social media page and for obviously responsible authorities to have direct contact with the licence holder and the DPS. But if the local authority might suggest a way that residents and customers can contact us with concerns, we're of course very, very happy to engage in that.
Is that all, Councillor Morgan?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe our officer, yes,
Thank you, Chair.
I'm just going to pronounce your name, unfortunately.
Just say Mrs. Green, it's easier. Okay, so no, I just have to respond to Mr. Stelling. So the conditions proposed, it says just to have, let me read it again, 1 second, shall be made available a contact telephone number. We did not put to be displayed at the premises. It should just be available on request. Also, or an email address, just an immediate contact number and a valid one, or, that we can then have correspondence and contact the license holder, or,
My instructions from the licence holder are that is absolutely acceptable. He sees no issue with that whatsoever. And I think social media being what it is, if we have that and an email address available publicly, and then a number for the DPS and the licence holder made available to responsible authorities, I think immediate contact could be pretty much guaranteed across those various forms, couldn't it?
Okay, perfect. Now, if I may, I had a question, a couple of questions for Mr. Kumar. when Councillor Morgan asked if the license holder and DPS were going to be in attendance daily, the response was yes, they will be there daily. Am I correct,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Sell? Right.
Yes.
Which I appreciate that. We appreciate that. However, for the times that we've been, sometimes they were not there because my understanding, they also have another business that they run in another area. So how are they going to achieve this?
Well, obviously the question wasn't, are they going to be there all day, every day during licensable hours? That would be unachievable. But at the moment, obviously subsequent to the event, they have been there daily, one or the other of them. And my instructions are that they would ensure that they would sort of divide to conquer, if you like, and one of them at least would be at the premises each day. And that would be to do the daily elements of running the premises, stock check, making sure they know what they need to order, but then obviously with a renewed sort of enthusiasm and obviously requirement to engage with the staff member at the time and ensure that they are checking the incident reports, they're checking the refusals registers, they're talking to the staff, and it's a daily check-in. They are there anyway, but that is as part of your sort of, I think it's point 7, sort of the due diligence checklist. We would have a daily sort of check-in with the staff that either the DPS or the licence holder would undertake. Just to add to this, their son, Raghav Kumar, has just undertaken a personal licence course in London. He is going to be one of the regular members of staff as well. And he's undertaken individual training, as I say, via the personal licence course. And the hope is that with a little more experience, he's only 20 at the moment, but with a little more experience, he might also be one of the individuals who are going to be at the shop over a prolonged period of time. Okay. Fine. Okay, so both sons, both brothers have undertaken the personal licence course, and they will hopefully in time, as I say, become more and more present at the shop as their experience grows as well.
Perfect. And only one other question, which it sounded odd to me. Basically, during the interview of 5th February, the PACE interview, Mr. Kumar stated that the employee who made the sale to the young girl was reprimanded and his employment terminated. On the 24th of May, however, when I delivered the application for the review of the premises license, there was an employee in attendance. Mr. Kumar and his wife were not. I took the name of the employee as Jasvinder, and I also took a photograph of him. Then Mrs. Datta rang me on the 28th of May, and actually she confirmed that that was Mr. Jasvinder Singh, who is the employee that Mr. Kumar said to have terminated after this incident. I just was wondering what was the case.
Well, okay. Can you confirm
Was it Mr. Singh terminated as Mr. Kumar stated under the PACE interview, or was he still there as Mrs. Datta confirmed to me on the 28th of May?
Ms. Green, I'll just ask now.
Thank you.
When Mr. Kumar?
Jasvinder.
Yeah. Yeah. When was he terminated?
हाँ फिर तुझे दोबारा आऊँगा अच्छा
मैं जाना सी
कहो तो साढ़े को स्टाफ है नहीं सी ਉਹਦੇ ਫਰਵਰੀ ਚ ਉਧਰ ਕਰਤਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਟਾਫ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ February, yeah. But due to the fact that there was a shortage of staff for some personal reasons, and due to the one of our staff's mental health and stuff, we had to get him for one day. And yeah, that was really good.
Okay, we could demonstrate. Okay, would you like to just obviously because you translated?
Hello, I'm Hanima, and I'm the daughter of Deepak Kumar. And in order to tell you and answer your personal question, obviously, it was that we terminated him in February time, but due to a personal reason with one of our staffs having a personal family and a mental health issue, and in order to ensure that their well-being was being met, we had to get him, well, just Jaswinder Singh back for 1 day. Because of that, we basically had them there for a day. And yes, is there any other questions? Anything else that you would like me to clear up?
No,
No?
no, thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Councillor Morgan, you had your hand up, but you seem to have disappeared.
No, I did have a question, but I'm content on it now. But I think the main thing, and perhaps this can be clarified by Laria, is the obligation of the premises supervisor to not necessarily be in attendance, but to be contactable. And my only concern is I understand that the family have other premises. Is the premises supervisor also the premises supervisor at any other premises, or is the premises supervisor dedicated to this shop?
Mr. Morgan, thank you. I've just been confirmed that Ms. Data is purely the DPS for this premises. She is not DPS for the other premises.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no further questions then from anybody. I can see no hands raised.
If I may, Chair, could I again just take a moment just to check that Mr. Kumar and his family don't have any other points of translation they'd like to discuss, just based on the questions so far?
No, we're very happy with what we have said.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kumar.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Do we have any other responsible authorities in speaking today?
If I may, Chair, Miss Evans, Kirsty Evans, is with us on the line. She was actually, because she was having connection issues at the start,
Yes.
Mrs. Green has actually obviously acted on behalf of the local authority and the responsible authority. So I just want to check with them if there's anything either of them wish to say now at this point in the procedure when we go to the responsible authorities, but they may feel that they've already presented their case.
Yeah. So Kirsty Evans, she's able to link on now, is she?
Yes, she has, Chair. She joined very shortly after we started, and obviously Mrs. Green is still with us. So I don't know if either of them would like to come on and say anything else at this point.
Thank you. No, I don't have anything else to add on behalf of the licensing authority. We didn't receive any other representations during the consultation period. So it's just Ilaria acting as the responsible authority for the licensing authority. So if Ilaria wants to sum up. Thank you.
I'll hand over to Ilaria to sum up then.
Well, basically, these are the reasons for the review, all these incidents, and the fact that the premises license holder is expected to fully comply with all of the imposed conditions without fail. The failed test purchase in July 21, the visit of the licensing enforcement, following written warnings should have been a sufficient admonition that the failure to operate compliantly opened them to the very real possibility of the premises license being reviewed. However, following the December 23 complaint, the premises license holder of DK stores, its management and staff have demonstrated that they are either unwilling or incapable to abide by the law. And that's the reason for the review. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much for that. I'll now ask the applicant or their representative to make a brief closing statement summarising their case and any closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. There's nothing really to add. As I say, we were absolutely engaged now and appreciate that we should have been. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the submissions that we've made. And we hope that those measures that we have already undertaken and would, of course, continue to undertake will prove sufficient for you to have a renewed confidence in Mr. Kumar, Mrs. Datta and their family in order to run the premises and apply and promote the licensing objectives.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to seek any clarifications at any points raised? No, I can't see. No. Oh, thank you all for this. I will now advise you that the subcommittee will now retire to deliberate this item in private. And I thank you all for your attendance today. And I will hand over to the office to advise on the next stage.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you to all parties who've been involved this morning. We will now go into private deliberation. So we'll be asking Mr. Kumar and Mr. Stelling, as well as the licensing officers present, to withdraw. So myself and Mr. Doherty, as a legal officer for the Vale of Glamorgan, will now stay with the subcommittee whilst they do their private deliberations. A decision will be passed on to the licensing department in due course, who will then contact Mr. Kumar as appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.